I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach.
So that is the beginning of an address that Melania Trump decided to do about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, which is fairly well documented at this point. She'd like to come up with an alternate version where she barely knew them or whatever, and that's fine. So that's up to her to do it. But why is she doing that all of a sudden is the question many people are asking. This story has not, for the past year, really ever been as out of the mainstream news cycle as it is right now. And that's when she chooses to jump in and be like, I have never been friends with Epstein. Do you believe that? Which is a little bit strange. Why is she suddenly saying this now? Why is she delivering prepared remarks that she apparently has never read before at a press conference, which is not a press conference because she did not answer a single question for obvious reasons. She delivered a 5-minute address and then walked away. We're going to speculate on all of this and more, but first I want to give you a little bit more of her denial.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998.
My God, conversations between Melania and Trump must be riveting stuff. Just imagine listening to those two jaw it out for a few hours. Anyway, okay, so she doesn't want you to believe that they have a close relationship. And the lies have to stop. The lies, which are basically just showing the portions of the Epstein files where she is partying with them and then having tribal communications with them or whatever, which I'm gonna give you the one she's talking about. But again, that's what's so interesting here, because there haven't been any new lies about her. That's from months ago, it's from a year ago. Why would she only now finally be addressing that? If it's the stuff that's already out, that is the thing that's bothering her. That just doesn't make sense in terms of a timeline. By the way, here's the tribal communications. Dear G, she calls her G casually. How are you? Nice story about JE in New York Mag. Is that just she's being casual there, calling him JE? You look great on the picture. I know you're very busy flying all over the world, trafficking young girls. She didn't put that part. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. Now maybe she's just a person who throws out loves. Maybe she dotted all of her I's with hearts in high school. I don't know. Maybe that is just casual or whatever. But she's like, I wanna go down there, I'm gonna see you there. And when you get here, give me a call to presumably see you here. Okay, now that doesn't mean that they're best friends necessarily, but that's also not the same thing as I happen to be at a party and someone snapped a candid. There is a wide range of perhaps of potential relationships, and maybe you're not on the criminal side, but you're not on the tribal side. You know, you're somewhere in the middle and being kind of strange about it. There's more, of course. We could talk about the fact that in recordings that the Daily Beast got published on the eve of the 2024 election, Jeffrey Epstein was heard bragging about his close relationship with the president and the first lady. Epstein even claimed that the first time that Trump slept with his now wife was on his plane dubbed the Lolita Express. In the recordings, Epstein described himself to Wolf as Trump's closest friend for 10 years. I don't think any serious person questions how close they were for a long time. Now, that does not mean that Melania was very close with them, but there's at least something. We have the actual email where they were talking about them having sex on the plane. He says, I remember flying back with Donald on his plane the first weekend. I went to visit you in Florida. Was the weekend he met Melania, and he kept on coming out of the bedroom saying, wow, what a hot piece of ass. Nuts. Anyway, hope you're enjoying Saudi. So wait. Okay, so they were on Trump's plane. So he kept coming out of the bedroom. Was Jeffrey Epstein like in the living room while they were having sex, and Trump just kept coming out and being like, wow, you have no clue what's going on in there? What social situation is he describing here, Brett Erlich?
I mean, it's amazing. I love everything that's set up. Like, everything is incriminating. Specifically, let's start with the beginning, the genesis of this press conference. It's every bit of speculation you do is bad for the Trumps, because it's like a lot of people said they started the war in Iran to distract from the Epstein files. This seems like they think the war in Iran is going so bad that they'd rather talk about the Epstein files.
Yeah.
How bad do you have to bungle a military action, which those things traditionally get you more support and more backing from people in America? There's a lot of stuff like W started this war so that he could retain office. Then his dad did a war so he could, don't change horses midstream is something people literally say during these military actions. But Trump is doing so poorly that the Trump family is doing Epstein things. Or there's a story about to drop. They were about to release these things. If you're doing a story, we tell our producers here, if you're revealing new information about someone in your work, you're obligated to reach out to the person to ask for comment. You don't have to tell them exactly what, but you have to give them something more specific than, oh, you're screwed tomorrow in the paper. We're gonna cook you on page 6. You have to say, like, we have some stuff connecting you to Epstein that might be found incriminating. Here's enough information for you to make a comment. I'm running with the story. If it's Melania Trump, you could say, we're running with the story tomorrow. And it seems like she's like, her people are like, you go out there and deny it now. And if you have to go out there and deny it now and get in front of the story, that looks really bad for you.
Yeah. Well,
something
really
else that looks
really
bad.
Fast, Brett, really fast. I don't remember the specific case, but this same thing happened last year. I think it was like the Atlantic or whatever reached out, and I don't know if it was the Signalgate thing or if it was whatever, but like there was a case where they tried to get out in front of it, and it was because a journalist had reached out to them.
Oh, 100%. And typically you're just like, listen, either it's gonna say in this story, they did not respond for comment, or they denied their activity, or a spokesperson replied. In this scenario, it's like they got the videographers to set up the live feed from wherever the hell she is.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't good. And they think that she still has enough goodwill with the people, which is relative to Trump true, but still it is very strange to do that. And then I just want to say, worse than that is the story itself that she's referring to in the email. Like, here's what it looks like. Jeffrey Epstein, international money man of mystery, quote, terrific guy. Donald Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. And then the art is like
also
people getting on a plane with like a caricature of Bill Clinton. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And this is from 2002.
Yeah.
God, it's my favorite time to be alive. Sorry, I'm switching back to my actual camera.
I think we should stay on that. Yeah, and so to close this out, so I believe that you're right. I think that they were reached out to, and something is gonna come out in a day or next week or whatever. I think that's what it is. Because the alternate explanation is what was provided by Melania's spokesperson, who went on Fox and said, first, enough is enough. This has been an ongoing, and it's time for the public to refocus their attention on what achievements our first lady has done. She's helping people over and over again. Americans are benefit, blah, 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 nothing. But basically it's, y'all need to stop talking about this when we weren't, mostly, for the first time in quite a while. That's BS. That's not why you came out with this. And there is a cost to coming out with this. As you described, she's bringing up the Epstein files, which Trump would probably prefer not. And he says that he didn't know that she was even gonna do this thing, which Yeah, super strange. Your wife is gonna have a press conference and you don't know about it. What kind of relationship is that? So whatever the truth is, it is nothing like what they're describing it.